Welcome to Champion Stadium here at Disney World. Alongside Kevin McAlpin, Ben Ingram, we're currently breaking the biggest rule in baseball. We've turned our backs to the field.
Yeah.
I can let you look at this right now. BP going on right now as we speak here at Champion Stadium. Spring training 2017 underway. We are getting closer and closer to games being played here at Lake Buena Vista. Matter of fact, the scoreboard already has Blue Jays and Braves.
Nothing, top of the first.
Illuminated, ready to rock and roll for Saturday.
Yeah.
So we're getting closer and closer to games being played. We wanted to bring you another edition of Have a Beer with Ben and Kevin. Unfortunately, we don't have any cold ones right now.
Could use one. It's
we
hot
really
out.
Could. It is warm. But a few storylines, Kevin, as we get ready for the first few games. I know as of now, and we're doing this video on Monday. We don't know who's going to be pitching Saturday, Sunday, Monday, first few days of ball games being played. We'll be finding that out over the next few days. But as far as position players go, I think more than anything, we're looking at middle infield. Want to see what it looks like for Brandon Phillips, for Chase Darno, for Jace Peterson, see how those guys fit into the mix. I think we all have an idea of exactly what it's going to look like come opening day. Swanson at short, Brandon Phillips at second base. But seeing some of these guys and the different positions that they play, I think there's going to be a long list of positions that some of these guys see.
Versatility is the key this spring training. You know, you talk about a guy like Jace Peterson, who a couple of years ago was your everyday second baseman. Obviously, Brandon Phillips coming in looks like he's going to be that guy on a daily basis. So you're going to have guys like Jace Peterson, Chase Darno, wearing many different gloves this spring. You're going to see him around the infield and the outfield as well. And, you know, you look around baseball, there's a lot of guys that have made a very successful career out of being that super utility type guy. So I think look for Jace, look for Chase to get a chance to play first, second, short, third, even get some reps in the outfield as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely see that. Interested to see what it looks like over at third base as well. As things stand right now, we had anticipated Adonis Garcia being the opening day starter at third base. But there are a few other guys here in camp, Kevin, that we'll be watching over the next few weeks. I'm interested to see what Rio Ruiz looks like. He got his feet wet at the big league level last year, and we'll get an opportunity to see him at big league camp this year. And he's a guy who's knocking on the door.
He looks great, too. I think about Rio Ruiz in camp 2 years ago and where he is now from just an in-shape standpoint. This guy's a specimen, and he had great numbers last year, and I think, you know, while he may not necessarily break camp with the team, this guy could be knocking on the door pretty quick. And I think if you're Rio, you know, you're kind of that guy that's flying under the radar right now. I think that's where he likes to be. Not a whole lot of people are talking a lot about him, but you know what? If he goes and has a great spring training, he could make a little bit of noise as far as that opening day roster is concerned. I don't know that he breaks camp, but he might not be very far off.
As far as the outfield goes, anyone who plays left field, right field, and center outside of Kemp, Markakis, and Inciarte, just getting reps, because there's no reason to think that there's anyone that's really challenging those guys for those positions. We're looking forward to seeing how Dustin Peterson looks here at spring training, but as far as the big leagues go, unless one of those three guys goes down with an injury, we're probably not going to be seeing Dustin or anyone else on a day-to-day level, day-to-day role here at the major league level. So that is pretty ironclad, and as long as those three guys are healthy, those are the three guys you'll see in left, center, and right field without a question.
And I think really you're just looking to see who that fourth outfielder is going to be. Is it going to be a mixture of one of those two guys we mentioned, Jace and Chase? Is it going to be a guy like Micah Johnson who's in camp? He could make a little bit of noise here as well. So, you know, you don't really have a true backup center fielder if something was to happen to Ender Inciarte. Obviously, we hope that's not the case, because he dealt with that hammy issue last year. But if he's able to stay healthy, you're not necessarily going to need a guy to get a lot of reps behind him, but you want to know you have someone you can count on if you need him.
When it comes to spring training, I think the one word that we use all the time is competition. Who's going to be competing for which spots, jockeying for positions here and there, starting roles up for grabs. I don't know that there's a position on the field where that is more true than the bullpen, and we've talked about this many times. I think we feel like in some way the trio of Jim Johnson, Miguel Cabrera, and
now that would be a sight.
That would be great. That would be great.
Mauricio
Cabrera, and of course, who am I missing? Arodys Vizcaíno. I think we feel like 7, 8, and 9 is going to be somewhere amongst those three guys. I don't think we know exactly where they're going to be spotted in that bullpen, and I think all the positions in the bullpen leading up to those three guys are up for grabs as well. So I feel like the competition for spots in the bullpen really starts Saturday, because we're going to have a close eye on these guys. Watch Johnson, watch Cabrera, watch Vizcaíno, and see who's hot, see who looks good, because I think in some way they will be 7, 8, 9. we'll see how they jockey for position. But I think the rest of the spots are pretty open, don't you?
There are, yeah. I think Ian Kroll's going to find a way to find a spot in the bullpen. He was outstanding last season, so I think he's going to be one of your lefties out there. I think keep an eye on Paco Rodriguez. First and foremost, we need to see if he's healthy. And again, we'll see that once games get going here in a few days. Josh Colementor could end up being a long guy in the bullpen. You don't necessarily have a guy that could serve that role right now. You think back to a couple of years ago when the Braves had Christian Martinez. This guy could go 3 weeks without throwing and go out and throw you 50, 60 pitches on a given night. So a long guy, Colementor could be that guy. So yeah, there's some spots open. Blaine Boyer is back in camp, one of the baby Braves. He is here on a minor league deal. He can make a little bit of noise as well. So there's a couple of spots in that bullpen, and again, once those games get going, that competition is going to pick up in a hurry.
How hard of a push do you think a guy like Colementor could make for opening your eyes and saying maybe he could find a way into the rotation? Obviously, a lot more of that would have to be on someone not performing that is currently slated in the top 5 than him performing, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, look, we saw him a small sample size last year, but I thought it was a good addition, a good piece to have. A guy who was Arizona's opening day starter a couple of years ago. So yeah, I mean, look, he's a guy that I think the Braves went and re-signed very early this offseason, maybe as an insurance policy, because they were so focused on bringing in starters if Bartolo didn't work out or if R.A. Dickey didn't come through. You had a guy like Colementor to be in there as well. So he can make some noise as well. So yeah, it never hurts to have options. You can never have too much pitching, especially starting pitching. So I think that's, again, a reason you have a guy like Colementor in the mix here.
We'll see it all start this weekend as the Braves take on the Blue Jays on Saturday. Jim Powell and Mark Lemke will have the call those ball games the first few days. Don Sutton, of course, will be here calling some games. Kevin and I will be calling some games, so looking forward to having you join us. And there are several different ways that you can find us. MLB at Bat app, probably the easiest way to listen to our broadcast on the phone. And of course, if you're local in Atlanta, 1340 The Fan 3 is where you'll find us during the week. During the weekends, we'll be on the Braves Radio Network at 680 The Fan, the flagship in Atlanta, and of course throughout the Southeast on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. So hope that you can find us. Good news is we didn't get popped in the back of a head with a foul ball.
Not yet. They're still hitting.
So we'll let these guys go ahead and finish that up. We'll be done. So look for more of these videos on 680thefan.com. We'll be coming to you regularly with more updates from beautiful Champion Stadium here in Lake Buena Vista, Florida.